Here's Johnny.
Welcome to my world, bitch.
Hi, I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end. Heidi ho.
And when you're down here with me, you float down!
Like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
What's up, guys? Welcome back, guys, to the Friday the 14th podcast. I am one of your hosts, Mr. Fuentes.
And I'm another one of the hosts. The 4K bad guy.
I'm Juan, the real Juan. Thank you, everybody, for another glorious episode, Friday the 14th.
Glorious.
Stoked.
Hell yeah.
Excited.
You are the
I'm
sexy
excited.
I want to talk some blood, some horror.
Some blood and horror. Dang.
That was actually Blade.
Yeah. That was on the new podcast, man. The
How's everybody doing?
podcast.
Just chilling.
Yeah.
Chilling.
Same. Just chilling, man. Just living it day by day.
Day by day, inch by inch. And
Every inch counts. Remember that.
always. Remember how excited we are today? I found out that we're going to, not we, but I found out that they're going to release the Halloween Ends trailer on July 20th.
Oh, shit.
And, you know, I was like, with this being a horror podcast, what better way to bring that up than right now? I think you guys covered, the first two, I think, just like we did. And I'm like, this is it. Finally, a year in the waiting. Halloween Ends. Are you guys excited?
Yeah, we did the second one, I think, but we haven't done the first one.
Oh.
So we did Halloween special with just Frank Dimosol and Franco and I. We did a Halloween Kills. So there's two of those. And if you want to count UHD, we did the Rob Zombie remake. But, yeah.
Nice. Well, I'm definitely excited to be joined by you two lovely young gentlemen here tonight. What are we talking about today?
We are talking about Insidious Chapter Dos.
Sakis.
Saki for $20. Oh, no. Okay. $40. Oh, yeah, see? 40. Yeah, no, we're talking about the Insidious 2, the continuation from the first Insidious movie. Of course, it has our main man, all of our man crushes, Patrick Wilson. And then some other people. Rose Byrne, who plays Miss Lamberg. Then you have Lynn Shay. I'm gonna go with Shay, who plays Elise. You got Barbara Herschel, plays Lorraine Lamberg. And then you got the kids. They're a lot older, so I can't tell them by looking at their pictures anymore. But Dalton Lamberg, and then just other people here and there. Although Miss Young Elise, she was definitely hot. Oh, sorry, is that a spoiler? Yeah, no, I'm excited to review this with y'all. Do we want to give our ratings, or do we do the snaps first?
The snaps.
Let's do the spoilers-free snaps. So continuing from Insidious 1, or just Insidious, the Lambergs are continuing to experience paranormal activity even after leaving their home and going to their grandmother's. The Miss Lamberg has a suspicion about who she thinks it is that's causing these disturbances, and it is definitely a bunch of twists and turns to get to the end to finally, hopefully, find out who is behind this insidious plot.
Dun dun dun.
Insert creepy music title here.
It's all just scratching.
So, spoiler-free ratings.
Oof.
Spoiler-free ratings.
Rating time.
It's rating time.
Rating time.
It's rating time.
I'm going to give this a 4.5.
Nick?
Oh, okay, shit. Sorry.
He was building up his star.
I'm going for 4.5. Might be some bias.
I'm gonna go just a little lower and do a 3.
You son of a bitch.
The only reason, so I gave Insidious a 5. To me, the only reason, without trying to give any spoilers, I gave it a 4.5 is I just think the first one was just a tad bit better than this one. I'm not going to really go into detail on why I think that is, but, it had a lot of the same elements as the first one, which really made me just kind of fall for it even more. But we could talk about more of that in a bit. What's after this? Do we start talking about things?
I don't know. It just goes downhill from here because Juan he tore my heart.
Tore your heart. That's great. First of all, for me personally, I really. Sorry, spoilers. Spoilers are coming up. If you haven't seen this movie currently, it is on Netflix. I don't know any other places. I did do the research to find out where it was at. Yeah. But Netflix is on right now. Actually, Chapter 2 is the only Insidious movie at Netflix right now.
Which is weird.
That is weird, But if you want to check it out, it's there right now for you to check out. I don't know when they're going to take it off, so you might want to try to catch it soon. I've already given it a 4.5, so y'all should go watch it. But yeah, no, I mean, getting into the movie, pretty much it picks up right off where the ending of Insidious 1 happens, and it's just really, it's really interesting. Like, you don't even, did y'all notice that they didn't even show the picture that you saw that she took?
Mm-mm.
I mean, that's at some point. Did we see the picture? Because I don't remember seeing the picture. In the very beginning, Elise takes a photo of Patrick Wilson, and then a photo comes out, and then, I don't know if we ever see the picture. Is it just the full lady in black, and that's it? Like, that's what I assume it is.
Yeah, they show at the end of the first one, I believe.
But you don't see it in the second one, though.
But second one, they're like, they still in the first one. They're being lazy asses.
Right. Yeah, because I thought about that, and I was like, man, like, obviously a woman's dead. We have our suspicions of who we think it is, and the police are like, well, I got this photo of this woman in black, but your husband was in the room. Like, does he get off from that? Do fingerprints change when you possess a body? Like, we're gonna look at the prints and we're gonna see if they're the same as your husband's. And it's just like, well, I don't know. I'm kind of confused at this point.
It's like, who framed Patrick Wilson?
Who framed Patrick Wilson? Yeah.
I did like that aspect of the movie, though, of how they teased just a little bit of like, hey, Josh could be, was he really possessed or not? That's one of the, he's possessed. It's an Insidious movie, but it still flirted with the idea that he can get locked up for killing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, even in the end, it was just like, wow. Like, that was probably one of, I don't want to say one of the more cheesier aspects of the movie, but that was probably one of my more cheesier aspects of the movie. Is that, like, after everything was said and done, it was like, I mean, he had teeth falling out of his face, and then this like exercise thing leaves his body, and like, oh, I'm perfectly healthy skinned human again, and all my teeth just magically came back. We don't know that for a fact. It looked like molars and shit were coming out, so maybe he's still missing those molars.
Regenerates.
Right? I don't know.
I mean that's one of the aspects that old Hollywood has used for numerous decades. That anytime a body gets possessed, like it rots, and it gets almost like just oldie mold cheese, and going all the way back to like The Exorcist. Her body, completely deteriorated, but the moment the demon left the body, she's like, "Hi, I'm fine. Let's go have fucking Denny's."
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. I kind of agree with you too. Like, even though that's been done in numerous movies, I'm like, yeah.
I didn't even like take that into consideration because like the way that this movie was built, it was almost like real people with real things. I didn't even cross my mind like Evil Dead. Obviously when you possess a body, they look all kinds of messed up, and then they get unpossessed and they don't look like that anymore. I guess you're right. Like I didn't think about it because of like the realism of this story. Even though obviously there's horror aspects and astral projection and things like that, they still make it seem like it's all that's possible in the realm of reality. So like whenever he was losing teeth and stuff, I was just like, well, how's that gonna work when the demon leaves? But it never dawned on me that, like you said, Hollywood's used that for so many years and nobody's ever batted an eye. And they're just like, yep, that's how demon possession works.
I had a few questions I wanted to ask you guys because, I know you guys were such big fans of the first one. So was I. I thought Insidious, like the first one, was just an unbelievable movie. But do you think The Conjuring coming out the same year Insidious Chapter 2 came out by the same director, do you think that hurt Insidious Chapter 2 at all? Like, because I mean, I went back and, rewatched this today for the first time. And I'm like, it does pick up as a perfect sequel to the first one. But I kept thinking, I'm like, man, the same year you had The Conjuring. I just kept thinking about The Conjuring, like, oh, this was in The Conjuring, but a little bit better. Oh, he was in The Conjuring, but a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
I kept comparing the two, and I shouldn't have, but I couldn't help think, they both came out the exact same time. James Wan, Patrick Wilson.
Patrick Wilson.
I don't know did you guys think of The Conjuring at all today while watching this movie?
I just think about Patrick Wilson. No, honestly,
I didn't think anything about The Conjuring. Well, I mean, at the time, I wasn't really a big horror kind of. I didn't really go to the movies to see horror movies. It was always like superhero movies or like action kind of movies. I've never really went or comedies. I never really went to see horror movies. So I didn't even know that these two movies came out around the same time.
See, I was kind of the opposite. I was like, I went and saw Insidious Chapter 2 in theaters, and then because I think Conjuring came out a little.
It looks like it came out before a couple of months before Insidious Chapter 2.
Yeah, so I didn't even go see The Conjuring in theaters because I'm like, I've seen Insidious. I'm gonna go see Insidious Chapter 2.
Mm-hmm.
Why I'm like, why go see that? But now, so many years later, I'm like, I just couldn't help but compare, and I think that's my fault. And I was just like, man, I don't know.
I mean, I do get what you're saying too, because just looking at the box office numbers are so.
I think Insidious did like. Oh, go ahead.
The Conjuring made $319.5 million, and Insidious did $161.9 million. So almost half the amount, basically half the amount that The Conjuring did, in the box office. I do remember, really loving the first Insidious movie, a lot. And then seeing Insidious 2, maybe with too much expectation, that I actually was like, nah, it wasn't as good as the first one. I don't like it. Like, I remember having that initial feeling back in the day. After watching it again 2 days ago or whatever, when I rewatched it, I was like, wow, maybe it's because I'm older and my eyes are more open to cinematography and things like that. But I was like, wow, like these camera angles are really cool, and the color grading is awesome, and the way they do these scenes are really cool. Like one of my favorite scenes is whenever which was also kind of my favorite scene in the first Insidious movie, but whenever like the woman kind of just like comes out of her side of line and like slaps her in the face, like because it's like she comes out of nowhere, like, but like it's kind of crazy how they did it. It's just like you see it and it's just like whoa, like it's almost like a mind fuck. Like you're just like where did she come from? She just popped up out of nowhere, and it's always just really cool. Just like little things like that really intrigue me. I don't know. That's just how I felt about the movie.
I liked how it kind of started off in '86, looking at little young Josh,
Mm.
and it kind of sets up the storyline for like, hey, maybe this demon has been following you your entire life. Going back and looking at little baby Josh.
Yeah, that's it's pretty cool. I mean, because in the first one, you find out that the uh, the bride in black, I believe, is the actual name for the character. Uh, she's in all the pictures when they look into pictures, like, oh, Josh, have you noticed his pictures? And you just see all the background, and I guess they just try to go into like more story with this little beginning. Because then that part it plays on later on towards the end of the movie, which I think was a pretty cool thing too.
Did either one of y'all find like the whole like almost like time traveling aspect weird?
I didn't find it weird. I just kind of felt that it was a little unnecessary.
Like I kind of liked it. I kind of liked the first one they did because I was like, oh, okay, it's a throwback from the first movie. So you're like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. Like it was him the whole time. Like you didn't know that, So that's kind of like a cool little throwback. But like the one where like he goes back to his child self to ask for help, like was kind of weird to me. It was just like, dang, like I can understand you maybe going back in time, like
2 years ago.
months, like a few, because I think all that happened like a week. So like, all right, so the last week, but now you're like traveling like 30 years in the past, and you were there the whole time, and it almost is kind of weird because now you're stuck in like these weird like time traveling paradoxes. It's like one of the most unnecessary lines of the entire movie was whenever like that whole scene happens, and then Elise goes, "So that's what happened." Like, oh no, shit, woman! Like, you had to say that for us to understand that that's what happened, or what? Like, it was just like such a weird, like, it was almost like it's like one of those things where you watch a hot dog get made and the hot dog pops out at the end, and the person like hosting the hot dog tour is like, and that's how a hot dog is made. Like, no shit, I just watched it. Yeah, I know that's how a hot dog is made.
I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but
it's all spoilers.
I mean, it's all spoilers, but I don't know if have you seen Doctor Sleep, the sequel to The Shining? Well,
no, I'm just messing
with
you.
You haven't seen it?
No, I'm just messing with you. It was a joke.
So you've seen it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I feel like this, even though Doctor Sleep came out afterwards, but you can see the tie-ins, like, well, not tie-in, but the similarities of the movies. This and then with Josh's character, or Patrick Wilson, him going crazy, even though he's being possessed by the bride in black. But just the idea of the future self talking to his younger self, that's also done in the Doctor Sleep or The Shining.
And it's really crazy. Like, honestly, I haven't talked to you at all today. And it's crazy that you bring that up, because while I was watching Insidious Chapter 2, I just kept thinking of like other possession films or other films where the main character gets possessed. And I kept thinking about The Shining. And I'm like, man, I've seen this before. And then I'm like, I just kept thinking of The Shining, and I'm like, man. So that made me think of like other possession films. So I wanted to ask you guys, like, where do possession films rank for you guys? Like, since you guys have been doing this for a while, you guys are, a horror podcast. Like, is it one of your favorite, like, top one or two horror genre is possession movies?
Mm,
Or do you feel like if you've seen a good one like Insidious or The Conjuring, then you don't need to see any other ones? Like, do you like a lot of compare and contrast?
hmm.
Because there's some bad ones out there, but there's also some really, really good ones out there.
I don't know. Like, what do you consider a possession movie? Like any movie with possession?
Like,
Like
Amityville Horror,
Evil Dead
Or
2,
Evil
Army of
Evil Dead.
Darkness,
Yeah,
stuff
Evil
like
Dead can be those.
The
Those can
Last
be
Exorcism.
yeah. Any of those could be. I mean, technically, if you want to get, the Shining is technically a possession movie.
Yeah, yeah. The Autopsy of Emily Rose.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
As far as ranking, I mean,
I mean, there's possession in The Conjuring, right?
yeah, the first, the third, the second,
Yeah.
yeah, just all the Conjuring movies. No, but
Because that kind of played a small role on why I kind of gave this movie just a little, a grade of 3. It was like, the first one was so good, and then the second one, I know it's a direct sequel, like it picks up right after the events of the first one, but it felt like everything was just been there, done that. Like it was almost an exact carbon copy of the original Insidious.
Yeah, it was very similar. Yeah.
Like I just kind of felt like that is kind of what made a little difference for me.
I think what, like, for me too, like, one of the reasons I didn't feel like I liked it as much is like kind of like you said, it was almost a direct copy. So obviously you get nostalgia watching it. You're like,
Oh yeah.
oh, it's kind of like the first one, and it does the like the music and stuff like that. It's very similar to the first one. So you're just like, all right, cool. Like these are familiar like feelings to have, for this movie. But I felt like the storyline was just like not as great as it could have been. Like he was possessed, the possessed person wanted to stay in the body, and blah 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 blah. It was just like I felt like the first one was kind of cool because you got to go explore this new world, and you got to go save his son who was trapped in this, ghost world or something from this evil red devil or something. And then, on this one, you're like, it's all in the real world for the most part. This ghost doesn't want to get out of Patrick Wilson's body,
I wouldn't
and
blame him.
you don't really get that much Astro World stuff. But the parts you do get, it's like almost direct copies, like you said, of the first movie. It's kind of like he went back in time, and there's a sequence in the first movie literally put into the second movie, and the only time you get in the afterworld is pretty much that scene, and then you get the other scene where his kid self shows him like the mom being a shitty person, which didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Like, so he finally was able to take out the mother, who was a bad demon thing, but then it somehow hurt this demon who had nothing to do with his mother. Or was he actually his mother the whole time? Or like, it just really confused me on why hurting her hurt him later on. That was kind of like more of a plot hole type of deal for me, because I was like, well, if she's her own ghost, then what does that have to do anything with the other kid or Lady in Black?
One Black, Harry Potter. I bet.
Maybe it was like a part of his memory, and so that's why hurting it hurt him. But I just, Lady in Black, by the way, is a guy. Just so you know.
Another thing that kind of like, when you're going into like movies that are part of like trilogies or, however many is there with this movie, it kind of made me wonder, like, is anything being set up in this movie for the third one that I may not get right now? I've never seen the third one, honestly. I've only seen 1 and 2.
Yeah, I've never seen the third one. I think there's a fourth one, and I heard there's
a fourth one
coming out with a fifth one.
Yeah,
apparently the third one's a prequel.
Third one's pretty cool.
Prequel.
Oh,
Prequel. Oh,
I thought the
Yeah.
I thought the Last Key was the prequel.
It might
that's the,
might
that's
also
the,
be one.
that's the prequel.
The
Okay.
prequel.
No,
That's weird.
yeah, you're right. 3 is the prequel. 4 is the Skeleton Key or some shit like that.
And Neil
The
Patrick
the
Wilson.
last key.
The Last Key.
Yeah.
What, you get Josh Stewart, the guy who played the Collector, but not Patrick
From-
Wilson?
From the second one, or no, the
Fourth one? Well, at least he might be in the third one too. I don't know.
But
Patrick Wilson. Oh, Patrick Wilson's in the third one too. Huh. Nice.
probably like a
I did
flashback.
like the little Ouija circle party where they like try to talk to Elise.
Oh, doing the rolling dice thing?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. That's something I hadn't. I mean, you've seen Ouija before in other like different movies and stuff, but not like this. Like you said, they brought out the dice and pretty cool.
No, I thought that was actually really, what's the word I'm looking for? Inventive, intuitive,
Innovative.
Other than to have like dice to talk to them, and him even to like explain a little bit like, well, every medium has like their own way of contacting the dead. Mine is dice, and it's just like, oh well, shit, I didn't know that. I thought y'all just got around to crystal ball and saying kumbaya until something came out. Like, I guess not. What I do is I throw decks of cards everywhere and I count the numbers and it tells me words.
Yeah.
What I do is toast bread, and then whatever the words on the bread are that are toasted is what I do, or what the ghost is saying to me.
A little bit of apple butter.
This one looks like Jesus. But yeah,
I liked, what were those people, the ghost creatures that were under the sheets when they started going into that different world, right?
uh-huh.
That was
Freaks
pretty
in the
cool.
Sheets.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
The victims.
What's under the sheets?
Yeah. Who are you? Dang, IMDb gave it to 6.1. Oh no, that's part 3.
Part 3.
IMDb gave us a 6.5, not much better.
Yeah, with how good the first one was, I was surprised how, the scores were for this. Rotten Tomatoes didn't really show it much love.
I
Fuck
think
Rotten
like,
Tomatoes.
yeah, I don't know, man. I think a lot of people came into the movie with really high expectations that it was somehow going to trump the first one, and it just falls a little short of the first one, which doesn't make it a bad movie because the 1st one, it's like, going. The first one's Patrick Wilson, right? The best, and then the second one is like Patrick Wilson's stunt double. Still pretty good. He's good for the wide shots, but it's just not as good as the real thing.
Patrick Wilson.
What movie is that one? Oh, that's the Insidious.
It's Insidious 2.
Nice. Did you pull that out of your pants?
I did.
Like all the other movies you pulled out?
No, I mean, and this one, the story wasn't the best. I mean, the first one, it was more, I guess, better storytelling. But I do like this one because I feel like Patrick Wilson, he had more, acting skill on this one. I think this one had more Patrick Wilson time. I feel like with the possession and everything, just the little scenes where he would do the crazy smiles, like it's like that's not even like demonic or anything. It's just Patrick Wilson do that smile. I was like, I'm a bit turned on, but terrified at the same time.
What did you guys think of when he started like getting like full on possessed? Like when Carl went in there to investigate and pull out the needle. What did you guys think? Like Patrick Wilson was creepy.
It was a little creepy. It was actually really cool, like the way his acting skill became. He kind of had that giant grin. He's like,
yeah,
and it was just like, whoa.
He does that in 2 scenes, I believe, or maybe even another one. Just has that crazy smile.
No, I mean, I was really rooting for. I probably talked about this on other ones, but I was really rooting for Patrick Wilson to be Bill and It Too, like the older version of Bill. Because I remember us talking about it, I think, whenever we're reviewing It Chapter 1, like back in our early Friday the 14th with Manuel and Franco. And I remember Manny saying, man, if they really cast Patrick Wilson as like Bill on It 2, Chapter 2, like he would be the Scream King for real. Like he'd be dominated. Like he'd be king. That'd be it. Like he just needed that one movie and he would have dominated everything he could dominate in that genre, basically. And I was like, dang, you're right. I hope they pick him. And then they didn't.
Didn't do it.
I think who did they end up going with?
James McAvoy was that his name?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Mr. Tumnus.
I mean, well, he's got some pretty big movies coming up. He's got Insidious Chapter 5, Tunnels, and then he's going to be in Aquaman a little bit later.
He's going to be in Aquaman? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Is he the bad guy?
No, he's in the first one, I think.
Yeah, he's in the first one.
He's
is he the bad guy?
He's yeah, the bad guy. Yeah, the first one they're kind of like brothers, I guess. Patrick Wilson, yeah, he is out there. He's in some Annabelle movies, which is Conjuring related. I didn't know he was also in never mind. No, it's not really a horror movie. It's kind of like horror western. He's in this movie called Bone Tomahawk, which is pretty good.
Patrick Wilson.
I mean, I first got introduced to Patrick Wilson when he was in that movie with Samuel L. Jackson called Lakeview Terrace. Have you guys seen that movie?
Oh yeah, that's a really good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Watchmen a few years later.
Yeah, I think a movie that he's in that's probably a little underrated is the Netflix movie Into the Tall Grass with Patrick Wilson.
I need to see that.
It was really good. I really enjoyed it. I might even watch it again because I haven't seen it in a while, and I remember enjoying it a lot. And it has Patrick Wilson. So
of course. Just to go off your what you're saying, like him being in the movie It. I mean, I don't think he needed to be in the movie. And honestly, to me, he's already Scream King.
He's Scream
King. Like, the thing is that he was just too big. He was too bigger than the movie itself. He's just that mega star. He doesn't need a movie to just make him rise. That movie, he needed the movie. The movie needed him. That's what it was. Oh, I mean, not like it matters, but Patrick Wilson and I share the same birthday.
Oh.
That's why you got the special powers to pull any horror movie out of your pants. I get you now.
He was also in that one horror movie that just came out a few weeks ago or months ago called Moonfall.
Oh shit!
No, I'm just messing with you.
With Halle Berry.
Yeah,
that was a sequel to
Goth.
Was it?
What
came out?
No, he's in a movie called Moonfall. It's kind of like, it's not too bad. I think I need to give it another shot, but it's like where the moon is like slowly getting ready to collide with Earth.
I remember that. I remember seeing the trailer to that in theaters and then never heard about it again.
Yeah, nobody else did either.
It fell just like the moon. But yeah, I mean, is there any thing that particularly? I mean, I think I've said a few of my dislikes, but there any dislikes that y'all had about the movie? Something that probably could have done better.
Dislikes, maybe. I mean, the story is all right, like the reveal, but I feel like the Bride and Black should just been like a Bride and Black. They're just a little weird. It's a little boy being forced to be something he doesn't want to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've seen another movie that's just like that. Maybe another one also like that.
Yeah, it was kind of funny too. Like, you think the mom like saw the ghost of that guy because of what happened to her kid, or do you think she was just a little paranormal sensitive herself, you know, because it was kind of funny, she gets out and she's like, "Why is this patient just walking around?" He's like, "He died yesterday."
He jumped out of the building.
That was interesting, just like little things like that make me like just think about the movie in a whole different aspect. And some of those things, maybe I'm just overthinking them. Like, is there a purpose to show that the mom has a little bit of a, heightened sense of whatever, things like that.
It's a family tradition, just gets passed on.
Is there any reason that Patrick Wilson's so sexy?
There's no reason.
He just is, right?
Just is.
Yeah, that makes sense. I agree. Yeah. What do we have?
I feel like maybe the movie should have just chapter 2. I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed it. I kind of wish that it was just a little bit different. Like you said, Fuentes, it's just kind of like mirrored the first one. I like the story. I like the continuation. Obviously, picking right up after the first one, the investigation. Is Josh to be blamed or not?
Maybe that's what part of the problem was too. Like
the thing that. Oh,
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say the only biggest thing that kind of bothered me was the fact that they relied. I feel like they relied too much on the jump scares, just like the first one. And I mean, I'm a 31-year-old dude. I'm not expecting to be scared out of my bejesus, with a movie that's almost 10 years old. But I did want like something just a little different from the first one, because it wasn't that long ago that I got to rewatch the first one, and I was like super excited. I was like, yeah, I haven't seen Insidious in a while, and I rewatched it, and I thought it was super fun. But then going into this one, I was like, I was super excited for this one, but then I was just like, man, it just feels like, I've seen this before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like maybe to me too. I don't know if like this is something you took into account, or maybe my brain unconsciously took into account. But it's almost like they made it too real when they started doing the police investigation. It was like they brought the real world a little too much into it. Like the first one was all about finding the kid and all this stuff and the paranormal stuff that happened, and then all of a sudden we get to chapter 2, and it's just like, who killed her? Who did this? Police are now everywhere. This is really happening. This is real. And it's just like, whoa. I don't need a 30-minute of my 145 just
okay
investigation.
Yeah, so that's a good bring up. Would you have cut that completely out and made the movie like 15 minutes shorter, or would you have added something else into the movie to make up for those 15 minutes? Because I agree with you. I would have completely just taken that out, and this movie could have been like an easy, solid hour and a half.
I think a solid hour and a half would have been great. Nothing in between like that, just kind of popping up. Like, I understand why they did it, because I'm sure they got a lot of slack from the screenwriters or the whoever was the producers. Like, how are you going to explain this chick getting killed? And then nobody opening an investigation about it. Like, what are they going to do? Throw her body in the thing? Like, well, y'all are obviously the only ones here during the death. One of somebody had to do it. Like, you have to clear that up for anyone that has questions about it. And they're like, okay, I guess we'll throw in the investigation. But it's like, was it necessary? Like, sometimes people take movies too much of realism. Like, all I want to see is the fantasy part of it, and the ghost and the ghoul part of it. I don't want to see the lawyer coming out like, you're being petitioned to subpoena. I need to see you in court. Like, I don't need to see that. Like, I don't need to see the police officers investigating, especially if they're not going to arrest the guy. Now, if there was like an actual scene where he got arrested, that would have made it a little more interesting. The ghost in jail and things like that.
Yeah, unless it was done right. I agree with you. Like, it kind of wasn't like done right. He didn't get like arrested at the end of the first one. There was actually no, it just kind of ended. So I agree with that. I think that could have been like completely taken out, and you have like a nice little hour and a half sequel.
Yep.
But I mean, I think this movie, IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, Meta, I think it doesn't get the recognition it probably does deserve, because like you're following in like the first one. Like it's really hard to follow the first movie, let alone a really good first movie. So,
Hmm.
and I think other than some pacing issues and some of the jump scares, like I think this is a not complete noteworthy sequel, but I think it's a fun watch, especially if you're a fan of the first one. Like I said, I've never seen 3 or 4, and I still thought this was a fun horror movie.
Yeah, I definitely need to see part 3 now and part 4 because I remember seeing this movie back in the day and being like, it wasn't that great. 3 and 4 are probably going to be worse. I don't want to ruin my favorite movie now, so I just didn't even try. But now that I've seen it and kind of see it with different eyes, I'm like, okay, they were definitely trying. And it wasn't, like you said, they tried to make almost a similar movie with a few different things, but basically it was the same movie. Like, very familiar, like you said, to the first one.
Maybe they're just trying to go for the Halloween direction. The Halloween 1 and 2. The original Halloween 2. Same night. Considering that it's like just basically a continuation. Just take away that opening of Josh as a kid and whatever.
Yeah, like I don't even know if that bothered me. It was kind of cool to see that just because, you kind of see like where the story was going to lead. Like the other one was kind of more about the kid. This one's going to be more about Josh, um, which is kind of like a cool little setup for the movie. Like, okay, this one's going to be about Josh and his fucked up past.
And I've always said this, like I think it's really really rare to do a good PG-13 horror movie, and Insidious knocked it out of the park with a PG-13 rating. And like Insidious Chapter 2, like I can only see so many horror movies that are PG-13 that aren't just dark and twisted. And I think that's also like something else that bothered me a little bit.
That it was PG-13.
Yeah, like if I'm seeing a possession movie, I want to see some twisted, maybe a little bit more gore. You know,
Uh huh.
Again, Insidious Chapter 1 did it perfectly. With the score, the music, the jump scares. Chapter 2 was just kind of, I don't know if I can take much more of this, at least with the PG-13 rating, because I mean, that's just me. I'm not a big fan of PG-13 horror, and it's got to be pretty good in order for me to like it. I don't know how you guys judge any of that. Like,
I never even look at ratings. I didn't even know it was PG-13. I just go in and watch a movie, man. It intrigues me. If I've never even thought about it as like wow, that movie really didn't have as much gore as I think it should have. Oh, it's PG-13. Well, no wonder. I
if
don't know.
I
I've
if
never
I
had
could,
that thought.
I just feel like, man, and that's probably just a me thing. Like when I'm getting ready to go into something, I'm just like my mind is constantly going like 99 miles an hour, getting ready to sit down and watch something, and I'm just like, can I just calm down and just watch the movie without thinking of anything extra? And it's really hard for me to do that sometimes. I haven't done that since probably before I even started podcasting. Like now, every time I watch something, I'm on like uh
Analyze.
dissect mode.
Yeah. That's kind of how I am nowadays too. I appreciate like film angles and like color grade a lot more than I did before. Like, um, I just didn't know, man. Like, I didn't know why that movie was so great, and then you kind of go back and you see like the smooth transitions and the smooth like wide angles and things that they do, and you're just like, dang, like someone had to envision that scene and then like tell someone, hey, I need you to move the camera from this to like this, and to paint, to paint the picture, to make it right. It's just so crazy how like even in something like videography, it's still an art, and you are making like almost like a painting when you're making a movie too. And some paintings, they have jagged little brushes, and some of them are just so smooth, and you're just like, wow.
I was talking to somebody about that today. I was like, I was talking about somebody about recording artists. I was like, I can respect a music artist like 10 times more of the person writing their material, like somebody like like Lady Gaga, writing most of her material and putting that in, that all that comes from, their minds, like putting that on paper and then putting it into a beat or a song and then putting it on an album. I mean, like that's something I would never be able to do. And then you can kind of transition the same thing into movies, like, you know, a scene, writing, putting it on paper, putting it on film, making 500 million bucks. Like it's mind-boggling to me sometimes that all this stuff that we watch, that we listen, it just comes from somebody's inside their brain.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating to me.
Yes, I know, I'm a fascinating person. No, it is crazy. Like one of my friends, she's a really talented artist. Well, I have actually a lot of talented artist friends, but she's, she does a lot of paintings and does art pieces, and like technically they're colored pencils, but they're like really fancy colored pencils. And it's just so crazy. Like, she'll get going at it. I've seen her go from like complete zero, just a blank canvas, to a complete masterpiece. And it's like, so like this was all in your head before you started? Like most of it, yeah. I mean, some of it changes a little as you're like doing it, but like for the most part, yeah, it's pretty much what was in my head. And she's like, but how? How did you do this? And
I know for people watching or listening, like, how the hell did you guys get on that topic? And I brought it up because it's like, Insidious Chapter 1, Chapter 2, that's all, this is still just coming from somebody's mind. Like, whether it be James Wan writing or Lee Wanhell, who is the guy who played he's the guy who played Specs, right, in this movie.
Yeah, and the guy from the first Saw movie.
Yeah, the first Saw movie. Like, he's one of the ones who helped write the movie. So, like, all these ideas, even though some of them could be a little out there, like, man, it's still screenplay from somebody's idea. Just makes you appreciate film and movies all that much more.
Yeah, like, it's so crazy to me. Like, I've said this before on this podcast. Like, it's so hard to sometimes trash like movies that don't seem to be up to par. It's like somebody did take their hard ass earned skill and time to put it all together just for someone to be like, yeah, it sucks, bro. I'm sorry to tell you. And you're like, I mean, you did some cool shit. I'm not gonna lie, there's some cool shit in there, but yeah, mostly, yeah, you just need to throw it all away and redo it. And it's just like, well, unfortunately, movies cost like $10 million nowadays, so I can't just throw it away. So it's what you're gonna watch.
Yeah. But that's the fun of it, though. That's the fun of, I don't want to be too cliche, but we just celebrated Independence Day. That's the joy of being free, having your freedom. We can be on this podcast with 3 different dudes and completely trash a movie that we helped not make at all. And there might be somebody who enjoys the movie, or somebody out there might enjoy Fear.com or or Rob Zombie's Halloween. So yeah,
every movie just needs to take a page out of Thanksgiving and use a $3,500 budget and make an amazing movie. That's all they need to do. Everyone will be rich too.
Nice.
Sometimes I think about stuff like that. Like there's budgets to movies, right? And then there's budgets to lower movies and things like that. So it's like, is a lot of that budget just paying like the director? Because the director is obviously, if you were to have a contest with 5 different like directors, or 5 different directors with their crew, each one had their own same crew. and give them like $5,000, kind of like similar to 26 Ways of Death or Letters of Death, ABCs of Death.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty much how that was. Everyone got $5,000 to do whatever they wanted to for that film, but you could definitely see the quality difference in some of them compared to other ones. And that, to me, that proved a lot more skill than any movie you'll ever watch in your entire life. That literally means the guy who made each film or that whatever letter is just that amazing on their own. They can literally make something amazing out of $5,000. Like, those are dangerous people. Not dangerous, but those are like the successful people. Those are the people that are just like, you could literally give me any kind of budget and I'll make you a great movie. It's just like, wow, you're amazing, bro.
And that's how Castaway was made. Not bad.
Thanks, killing, bro.
But yeah, we're gonna transition to the next segment. But I just want to throw a random scene out there that made me giggle like a little girl inside. Just the bride in black, his mother, whenever she goes in and grabs the baby, and does that how dare you, and that it's kind of left to the imagination, but you hear the loud slap. There's like, so that mother just straight up slapped the baby, but they don't show it. It's like, I don't know. That was hilarious.
No, that was that part, and yeah.
How dare you? And baby's ah.
Yeah, she was a mean mother.
That you're talking about the scene where she was talking about how he put the wrong name on the drawing, right?
I mean
that's the same, or
that's just like, I guess that's how the original act happened, but the reenactment, she does it again to
yeah.
Patrick Wilson's baby. So it's pretty hilarious. You don't see it, but you're just hearing it.
You're left to to Nick's imagination about what happened behind those
How
doors.
dare you? It's like savage. It's just a baby, man. But
Will Smith, Chris Rock.
that's what it was. Everyone's getting slapped. I think the baby's getting slapped. Parker's getting slapped in the flashback or past. The wife gets slapped too. So everyone's just getting slapped.
Slapped.
I was like, damn. Taglines. Insidious Chapter 2.
So the tagline for this movie is, "It will take what you..." Insidious Chapter 2. "It will take what you love the most." Oh no, "It will take what you love most." Sorry.
Patrick Wilson.
Patrick Wilson.
It'll take.
It'll take Patrick Wilson. Insidious Chapter 2. Patrick Wilson.
Insidious Chapter 2. Patrick Wilson strikes back.
Insidious chapter, Patrick Wilson.
Insidious Chapter 2. "Can I keep your teeth?"
For the 2 theory.
Insidious chapter 2. You're not Darth Maul.
And for the first one. Insidious Chapter 2.
It will
Insidious
take what? Oh, go ahead.
Insidious Chapter 2. "I'm a real boy."
I don't know. Anyone else got anything?
I will take what you love most, Patrick Wilson.
You son of a bitch, you went there. Now, how would you have ended this movie? Because the movie just ends off happy ever after. They get their minds wiped or under hypnosis, or what is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from there, and then you get shown a tease of a movie that I don't think it plays down the sequels.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of weird. But a person who appears in that scene for the family is a young Jenna Ortega.
Mm.
I was like, I knew you'd get Juan's attention.
Um, I don't know if I would like change really the ending itself. Maybe it could have been a little more darker. You know,
Dalton dies.
I was gonna go Amityville horror style and say Patrick Wilson still possessed technically at the end and kills everybody.
He does a wink.
Yeah,
Like he looks back. He's like Michael Jackson Taylor.
yeah. I mean, I know this is probably too dark, but I did want to see one of his family members like get it. Like I wanted like maybe the story taken too much of a serious turn, and the demon take one, whether it be the wife or one of the kids, and I know they probably would never do a kid, but like, or even maybe Patrick Wilson
just choke out
himself.
the kids. That's it. Just choke it out.
Yeah, like I don't know. I just felt like I wanted to see a sacrifice in this movie.
Patrick Wilson sacrifices him. He died for your sins. Just needed a death, man. You know, you got to tease with like Carl. I believe that was his name.
Oh yeah.
He's like, you shouldn't be here. No, I shouldn't be here because I still felt a heartbeat.
Yeah, I felt like that was kind of cheesy too.
So he didn't die. He's like,
Personally.
oh.
That he wasn't even dead.
Well, it'd be a lot cooler if he did.
Kind of a lot cooler if you're dead. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have another way I would have ended this.
More blood.
More blood.
Exactly.
More Wilson. Damn. I don't.
So yeah,
They just the whole series where they just keep doing the cliffhanger endings, like how the first one was. Patrick Wilson kills Elise, get the picture, and I don't know, maybe another family member. Just stupid trend.
That was another like letdown for me, was the ending. So
It was a happy ending.
Yeah.
It didn't end like the first one.
More
On a
blood.
Bad ending.
More
I
blood.
wouldn't say a bad ending, but a open ending where the Elise dies, or at least you get to the assumption that she died. Does it show her dead in the first one, or does it show her like about to get attacked in the end?
She's getting strangled. She's getting choked, but I don't think you fully see her dead until the beginning of this movie, the aftermath. But I mean, she's a ghost towards the end of this movie. It's like, oh, who are you talking to? They're like, what are you saying? And then she makes a reaction like she saw something, but they don't show it. I mean, it was a similar ending to the first one, I guess.
Yeah, like the whole ending, like the ending was really kind of strange to me. Like, she obviously saw something, and it showed the corner twice, but doesn't give you any kind of clue that there was anything there. Like, I was like, do I need like some special like glasses to see what was going on back there? I think did I talk about this on the last podcast where I was like, it'd be a great like movie is like you watch a movie that has to do with like ghosts and things, and you don't really like see too many ghosts throughout the movie, but then you wear a special pair of glasses that like show like all the ghosts that were hidden the whole time throughout the movie. And I was like, man, that'd be like such a cool experience. Just ghosts fucking in the background.
That's what I like to see.
That's
On the PH.
That's the director's cut from Casper.
Casper.
Speaking of doing it in the background. No.
Doing it in the background?
What?
I can just say something and
this was gonna lead into what we're talking about in 2 weeks.
oh man, is that time already? I thought we're gonna introduce a new segment.
Were we? I have no idea about what you're talking about.
Oh, this is just on the spot. I think it'd be a pretty cool idea to call it the actor of the movie, the spotlight. So I'm gonna call this the Patrick Wilson of the movie, meaning that's the best actor, the only actor character that mattered.
Oh,
And
this is new.
this is new on the spot right
Wait,
here.
can
And
you call it the Patrick Wilson of the movie, and then it's gonna be Patrick Wilson?
hey, no spoilers, man. But for today's episode, it's Patrick Wilson.
The Patrick Wilson of the movie award.
Dang.
Man, I don't know.
PW award.
I think I might have to give this to the guy who played Carl. No, I'm just messing with you.
What?
No. I think I'll give it a. You got to give the old Patrick Wilson.
I'll give it to the lady in white. She was hot. The way she slapped people in the face.
Get slapped. She's just like a
The way she
real.
slapped babies, like that's gonna be a great like future mother for my kids. Shut the hell up.
It's a clip edited. All the slaps.
No, Patrick Wilson obviously does a great job. The smile parts really got me. I could just never take up, and I say this with no prejudice. I can never usually take female actors seriously in horror movies because all they are doing the whole time is the whole time. So it's just like, I know that's the role. I know they're supposed to be scared of everything and they're females, but it just seems so cliche all the time that they're always that.
So
Like,
Lynch.
I so hated every face that the chick made in The Shining every time she was scared. It was like, I was very upset with all of it.
But
yeah, Patrick Wilson, yeah, he was pretty good.
yes.
Also the lady, but Patrick Wilson, yeah.
EW.
Sorry for rudely interrupting one. But what's the movie you're leading on to this?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I have a rating change.
Oh yeah.
It went lower.
I think I'm gonna drop it to a 4. After talking about it a bit more, I'm like, I think it's a 4. I think I could give it that 3.5 rating. Because you made me realize a lot, Juan.
The next movie that we're going to talk about next week, Nick, we're going to talk about The Witch.
The bitch.
But in 2 weeks, when we're all three back together again, we get to talk a movie with Willem Dafoe. There's only 3 people in this movie, and it's a Willem Dafoe movie. We're going to talk
Spider-Man.
about Antichrist, July 27th.
July 27th.
Antichrist, directed by Lars von Trier. Willem Dafoe, Charlotte Gainsbourg, and
Only 3 actors?
yeah.
Wow, this is gonna be interesting.
You guys can check it out now on, I believe, AMC Plus.
Don't got that.
It is also on Sling. You can rent it on YouTube for $2.99 or Google Play for $2.99. But it's over 10 years old. I'm gonna be honest with you now. Like, I first got introduced to this movie from like a podcast way back in the day that I was listening to. And then I mentioned it as a recent watch on my podcast a few years ago, and I got an email about this movie, and the email just said, "I just checked out what you watched. You sick fuck." So just a heads up, we're gonna talk about it. I think it'd be fun. I don't know. Willem Dafoe is one of those guys who's just like out there. The dude can act. He's crazy. Spider-Man, a bunch of other stuff that he's been in. So, and this movie, like, honestly, has really huge, impactful meaning behind it. It's a really, really serious matter, and there's just a lot of Lars von Trier in this movie, and that director is just he's out there. He's a trippy dude. So, I think that's what makes for like a good podcast or a good conversation on any kind of microphone is if you have a movie that is just like so diverse. Like I said, I've only seen it one time and I've never touched it again.
Mm.
Um, so I think this would just make for a unique, fun conversation. Uh, from three minds, three different horror films. Not three different horror films, but just three different uh three different minds about this weird, unique, and horrifying movie. So
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, sounds good, man. I got it written down on my calendar. Antichrist, Willem Dafoe.
Belle Biv DeVoe, and now you know. Mm.
I felt like there's
Yeah.
something else I was gonna say, but I forgot.
Something else you're gonna say?
I'm kind of like excited to be like, "What the fuck, Juan?" But besides that, I think we're all good. Well, I think that's our episode of Friday the 14th podcast today. If you haven't watched Insidious, if you watched Insidious Part 1 and you haven't watched Insidious Chapter 2, I would highly recommend it. It's definitely a great sequel to the movie. Obviously, there's a few things like we've talked about in this movie that were maybe not up to par exactly from the first one, but that's like, comparing, something really super amazing and then something that's still pretty good right underneath it.
Apple to a banana.
Yeah, it's still a good movie. Like, even if it's not exactly like the first one, or maybe it is exactly like the first one. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know. However y'all see it, y'all should see it. It's still a good movie. 4 out of 5. I really did enjoy it. Still, it was a really good movie. And again, thank you all for tuning into the podcast and checking it out. We enjoy and appreciate y'all. My name is Mr. Fuentes. You can check me out. I do music. You can check me out on Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere else you stream music, or any of my social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Mr. Fuentes 361. And now I'm going to pass it to you.
You pass it to me. I have been the 4K bad guy. You can follow me on Instagram at the same name, at the 4K bad guy. So yeah, Juan already revealed the next movie for UHD, which is the Witch, the Witch, an A24 film.
What's behind your ear?
A24.
The Witch.
The Witch. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that movie. I mean, especially seeing in the 4K edition. It's pretty.
Nice.
Gonna have a wangasm. So I'm gonna call it a wangasm.
Is it because you only get one?
You'll get one. No, because I know one loves A24, and it makes
one load 824.
Yeah, looking forward to that episode, and just a shout out to the boys over at the Fanboy Podcast with that episode 1 drop of they reviewed Blade. It's nice.
Blade.
Want to go check that out? It's on the channel. Check out some other projects we have on the channel.
Give us a wall.
It all Productions. It's another good stream. Happy to do another episode down in the books, episode 14. So until next week, I'll see you.
Juan, did you?
Oh, my bad.
Also,
Yeah, you
you're
got-
wonderful.
You guys can follow me on social media as well, facebook.com and Instagram / one word the Cinnamon Movie Podcast. My podcast is now on this channel as well. Mondays, Thursdays. Tomorrow we're talking 20th anniversary of Reign of Fire, Christian Bale, Matthew McConaughey. This past Monday we just got talking about Thor: Love and Thunder. So check us out. Come talk some movies with us. So yeah,
I will come.
find me.
I was about to say, you don't have to say anything further. Come is all you needed to say.
Yeah, I may come. All right, guys. All right, folks. Always better on the bad guy. See y'all later.